What's up everyone, it's Sprometheus, and today I want to have a chat about the Godshot. Now if you aren't familiar with the term, it's used in coffee circles to describe the perfect shot of espresso. A shot that aligns all of the vast array of variables, from roast to brew time, to achieve an espresso that once it's sipped is nothing short of an enlightening experience. The term itself is linked to a coffee blog of the same name, started in 2004 by a guy named Chris Tacey. But as the years went by, there will be countless articles, videos, debates, discussions, all these things all regarding the definition of the Godshot. Even when I posed the question on my Instagram story, not one response was the same. But this shouldn't surprise anyone, since when does the internet ever agree on anything? And the thing is, in the case of the Godshot, they really shouldn't agree, because how can we define something that is completely and entirely subjective? Most baristas, whether you're a home barista or a professional, will generally hear about this Godshot term pretty early on in their coffee experience. Whether it's from a friend, a trainer, a forum, or even just a conversation overheard in a coffee shop, you develop this idea in your head of what a Godshot is or should be, and then you're set on this path with no real direction. The good news is, when you're relatively new to making espresso for yourself, your first Godshot will come pretty easily. You'll be getting a hang of the whole preparation and pulling process, starting to understand how to taste and experience espresso, and your expectations won't be crazy high. The bad news is, once you land a few, a Godshot will be incrementally harder and harder for you to achieve. Now you may be thinking that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but think of it like any other goal you may be trying to achieve. For example, let's say you want to run a 6-minute mile. Once you reach that, what's next? 5:59, 5:58? It's essentially a never-ending pursuit, and that comes with its pros and its cons. The Godshot of espresso is the same way. As you get better and better, the bar gets raised. You become more acclimated to good, great, and near perfect shots on a regular basis. From there, your expectations can increase, and if you're not careful, you can create a very jaded, albeit wasteful mindset where shots that aren't perfect end up getting tossed. Let's say you don't hit the exact brew ratio you're aiming for, or you don't hit the exact target time, down the drain they go. And this is what I call the Godshot Trap. Striving for constant perfection can end up being a road to frustration. You can begin to question yourself, your skill, your training, and your equipment. At this point, the Godshot is more of a detriment to your espresso experience than something that's a motivator for progression and to getting better. This can make something that is your morning routine, or your passion, your hobby, or even your profession feel more like a chore and a lot less fun. And that's something we have to catch ourselves slipping into and pull ourselves out of. That doesn't mean you can't train to be a better barista. Of course, I support everything in terms of progressing as a barista and learning more about coffee. That's why I'm here. That's why I make these videos. By all means, pull shots, test, experiment, try new coffees. I support all of those things. But don't focus primarily on perfection, because that's a road that once you go down, you're going to generally find yourself feeling robbed of your effort and your time. Experience each shot of espresso for what they are. A true Godshot is what you make of it. Just like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, a Godshot is in the palate of the drinker. Regardless of how a shot tastes, they all contain a lesson when looked at constructively. I've learned far more about espresso from tasting the shots that on paper would be considered bad than I ever have from tasting the ones that have been good or even great. It's those bad shots that really teach you how to make great espresso and how to understand espresso, and it's really where the heart of espresso actually is. In the end, the term Godshot was coined innocently enough, but over time it's been twisted a little bit. But it was long before many of the current advances we've made in coffee that have become commonplace not only in cafes, but also in home kitchens. Throughout the duration of third wave coffee, the widespread introduction of things like scales, brew ratios, and highly accurately machined tools have really helped create a repeatability in espresso that just wasn't there before. But back in the early 2000s, the existence of a Godshot seemed like much more of an achievement. They generally occurred out of pure chance due to less detailed focused preparation and techniques proven problematic through modern testing. So I guess if I were to sum up this whole thing in one sentence, it would be a quote from my friend Troy, who always used to say, "Every shot is a Godshot." But now's the point where I want to hear from you. Do you believe in the Godshot? If so, how would you define it? Or have you fallen into the Godshot trap as I described? I know a lot of us baristas do pretty early on, and hopefully we kind of claw our way out. Let me know your thoughts on that. anything Godshot related in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see y'all next week. And a big thank you to my October Patreons, Ads, James B, Jacob P, David W, Christopher, John K, Squeegee, Roe, Brian, Lisa, Obo, Andre, Rick Racer, Sean Noel, Spookus, Bound Coffee, Mika, Samantha, Nathan, Claire, Steven, James K, Josh, Andrew Horrison, Bobby, Corey C, Curry, Jeff Roth, Ninja Warrior Coffee, Testing 123, Jason C, Dave B, Jerry, RD, Tim, Matt, Tony, Zachary V, Tyler F, UK Espresso, Robert Underdunk, Jeffrey Oliver, Thomas, Daniel Mike, James, Brian, Brandon, Tyler, and Kay, and of course a big thank you to the barista and barback tiers. If you want any information on my Patreon, there's a link in the description and in the upper right hand corner right now. And lastly, a big thank you to you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications of new videos posted every Friday. Follow my Instagram at Sprometheus for content throughout the week, my blog at Sprometheus.com, my coffee at littlegiant.coffee, and as always, stay caffeinated, Ponyboy.